It's strange to think about where we are right now. Not on Earth, not even in our solar system, but in the middle of something far bigger and far more violent than our minds can truly grasp. You are at this very moment drifting through the aftermath of death on a cosmic scale, the gravesite of giants that once burned brighter than anything you can imagine. And the space you call home is still warm from their funeral fire. Millions of years ago, long before humans existed, the quiet darkness of this region was torn apart by a chain of explosions so intense they reshaped the very fabric of space. One star died, then another, and another, 15 in all, collapsing in on themselves and blasting their energy outward. They didn't just vanish into the void, they ripped it open. The force of those blasts swept aside the dust that once drifted lazily between the stars. In its place, they left a yawning emptiness, a colossal hollow in space. Imagine a sphere so vast that entire solar systems could hide inside it. And yet here we are, right in the middle of it, floating through its heart. The shock waves from those deaths are still moving, still echoing through the galaxy, racing outward faster than anything on Earth could hope to match. They carry with them something invisible to our eyes, yet unimaginably hot. A sea of plasma, a million degrees in temperature, whispering through this empty cavern of space. We call it the local hot bubble. But that name, it's too gentle for what it really is. This is a scar carved into the galaxy by fire and fury. And here's the thing, we didn't stumble upon it from a distance looking through a telescope. We're not just spectators, we're inside it. Our sun is sailing right through the ashes of dead stars and has been for millions of years. For a long time, we didn't even know it was there. Back in the 1970s, scientists noticed something odd. Faint X-ray signals coming from every direction, a kind of glowing haze across the sky. At first, they didn't know what to make of it. Maybe it was just noise or a trick of our instruments. But the clues piled up, and whispers of a vast, invisible bubble began to take shape. It wasn't until decades later that the picture became clear. NASA's instruments confirmed it. This wasn't just a theory. We were swimming in a million-degree ocean of near-nothingness, the remnant of ancient cosmic violence. And yet the questions only deepened. What could create something so massive, so empty, and yet so hot? Why, in the middle of this barren expanse, were there so many young stars scattered around us? The answer was both terrifying and beautiful. 15 supernovae, exploding one after the other, within just a few million years. Each one a sun-shattering event, tearing itself apart and flinging its guts into the void. The energy they unleashed pushed away the interstellar gas and dust like a snowplow through drifts, leaving behind this hollow. The heat from those blasts still lingers, trapped in the thin plasma that fills the space between worlds. We can even see their fingerprints here on Earth, in the seabed, in the most ancient layers of ocean crust. Tiny traces of a rare element, iron-60, are buried there, an isotope forged in the heart of dying stars. The Earth itself can't make it, which means it must have fallen here, drifting down from the skies millions of years ago after those colossal explosions. We've even found the same traces on the moon, silent witness to the cosmic storm that swept through our neighborhood. These deposits are like time capsules. Their decay tells us when they arrived, like a clock etched in atomic language. Two great waves of stellar death, one between 6 and 9 million years ago, another just a few million years later, washing over our solar system, lighting the skies in ways no human eyes would ever see. And here we are now, gliding through the very space those explosions hollowed out, our star positioned almost perfectly at the bubble's center. A peaceful traveler inside a graveyard where the ghosts still glow. If you could pull back from our solar system, far back, beyond the planets, beyond the quiet stretch of the Kuiper Belt, you'd see something unexpected. We aren't floating through space aimlessly. We're sailing inside a hollow shell, one whose edges are alive with the glow of newborn stars. It's almost poetic. The same forces that destroyed so many colossal suns also created the conditions for new ones to be born. Like a forest fire that clears the land for new growth, the supernova that carved out our local hot bubble left behind walls of compressed gas. Over millions of years, those walls became nurseries, giving rise to clusters of bright, young stars. This wasn't always obvious. For a long time, scientists could only guess at the bubble's shape and size. Then, in 2022, a breakthrough came. Using data from the European Space Agency's Gaia telescope, astrophysicist Catherine Zucker and her team built something remarkable, a three-dimensional map of our galactic neighborhood. It didn't just reveal where the stars were, it showed how they'd been moving for the past 20 million years. When they traced their motions backward through time, a pattern emerged. Every single young star-forming region within 500 light-years lay on the bubble's surface. None inside, none far away. It was as if all the light of our nearby night sky had been painted onto the curved shell of this ancient wound. And from that, the history of our surroundings began to take shape. Millions of years ago, long before our sun wandered into this neighborhood, two great star clusters, Upper Centaurus Lupus and Lower Centaurus Crux, gave birth to massive stars, each many times heavier than our sun. Those stars burned briefly and died violently, each explosion feeding into the growing bubble, forcing its boundaries outward. The map revealed four great chapters in this story, four waves of star birth, each triggered by the bubble's expansion. The first wave came about 10 million years ago, the second about 6 million years ago, the third around 2 million years ago, and the fourth, the one we're living in now, is still unfolding. Even now, dense clouds of gas cling to the bubble's surface, waiting for the right spark to collapse into the next generation of suns. But our sun, it's an outsider here. It wasn't born in this place. Around 5 million years ago, it drifted into the bubble's growing heart, carried here by its slow orbit around the Milky Way. By chance, it now sits near the center, surrounded by the ghostly heat of long-dead stars and the glittering birthplaces of the next ones. It's a strange thing to realize, that our home star is just passing through. And yet, because of this journey, we find ourselves perfectly positioned to study the bubble from within. From here, scientists can look outward in every direction, peering through the thin plasma to the bubble's shimmering edge, watching the light of newborn stars pierce through. You might think being in a million-degree cloud of gas would be dangerous, but the truth is, there's barely anything here. The plasma is so thin, so empty, that you could fit 100 times more hydrogen into a similar volume outside the bubble. It's heat without weight, fire without flame, a reminder of how alien space truly is. Still, this invisible sea leaves its mark. Sensitive X-ray telescopes can see it glowing faintly all around us. Instruments like Rosita, launched in 2019, have mapped it in exquisite detail. They've even found that it isn't perfectly uniform. The southern half of the bubble is slightly hotter than the northern half, perhaps because another supernova went off in that direction just a few million years ago. And the shape of this place, it's not a perfect sphere. It's stretched, elongated, as though the heat has been pushing hardest where the galaxy offers the least resistance. In those directions, the bubble has spilled out toward open space, its edges reaching far beyond the flat plane of the Milky Way's disk. We've also learned that we aren't as isolated as we once thought. These bubbles aren't rare. The galaxy is riddled with them, like holes in a cosmic sponge. Some even connect to each other through vast, hot tunnels. One such passage, the Canis Majoris Tunnel, may link our bubble to the Gum Nebula, a larger and equally violent remnant of stellar death. Another newly discovered tunnel appears to stretch toward the constellation Centaurus, possibly joining us to the Lupus superbubble. It's hard not to imagine these as secret passageways through the galaxy, silent corridors carved by destruction, waiting to be explored. And the thought that our own local hot bubble might be just one chamber in a sprawling network of interconnected scars, it changes the way you look at the night sky. When you stand beneath a clear night sky, it's easy to feel like you're looking at something timeless. Stars fixed in their places, the universe serene and still. But that quiet is an illusion. Every pinpoint of light has a story, and our own place in the galaxy is anything but calm. We are drifting through a monument to destruction. The local hot bubble is not just empty space, It's the echo of fire, the memory of suns that burned themselves to death. Every inch of it was once filled with dust, gas, and the cold weight of the interstellar medium. Now it's a hollow cavity, scraped clean by shockwaves so powerful they could tear entire worlds apart. And yet within that destruction lies creation. The edges of this bubble are crowded with nurseries, places where dense clouds of gas are collapsing under their own gravity, sparking the birth of stars that will shine for billions of years. The very violence that destroyed the old has given life to the new. It's a cycle that feels almost human, endings making way for beginnings. The map of our galactic neighborhood, stitched together from decades of data, is a window into this truth. You can trace the chain of events across millions of years. Ancient stars forming, burning, dying, shock waves racing outward, sweeping up gas, igniting new clusters, and our sun, a wandering outsider, drifting into the bubble's calm center, a traveler passing through a cosmic scar. The most haunting part is knowing that the story isn't over. Somewhere out there, massive stars are nearing the end of their lives, their cores slowly collapsing toward the inevitable. One day they too will erupt, carving new hollows into the galaxy, scattering their ashes across space. And those ashes may someday drift down on distant worlds the way they once fell on ours, tiny grains of radioactive dust carrying whispers of the star that made them. The local hot bubble will keep changing. Its walls will keep birthing stars. Its tunnels will keep linking it to other bubbles. And in millions of years, our sun will drift out the other side. By then, the night sky will look entirely different, the constellations unrecognizable, the galaxy's scars reshaped by events we can't yet imagine. But for now, we remain in the center, floating through a million-degree graveyard. Invisible heat surrounds us, so thin and empty we never feel it. Light from new stars filters in from every direction, their glow reminding us that even in the coldest depths of space, creation never stops. The next time you look up, remember that you're not just gazing at stars. You're standing inside the aftermath of a catastrophe so vast it reshaped hundreds of light years of space. You're walking in the ruins of giants under a sky that still carries the fingerprints of their final moments. And maybe, just maybe, you'll feel what scientists feel when they map this place: awe at the power of the universe, humility at our tiny place within it, and wonder at the strange truth that we are alive inside the story of both life and death on the grandest scale imaginable. Because here, in the heart of the local hot bubble, the universe is telling us something: that nothing is truly lost, that even the most violent endings can become the seeds of something new, and that in the silence between stars, the echoes of ancient fire still burn.